Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a quick first impressions for you on a new steel will. I don't know if these are available in stores yet, but they should be shortly. So go ahead and check out those channel sponsors down below. What we've got here is the F-37 Barghest. Steel Will did send this to me. It's from their tactical line, and I may have had something else in the past from their tactical line, but at the very least, I can say I haven't had very much. So this will be a little bit of a different option for me, as well as give you guys something a little bit different. Quickly, let me show you what's in the box, and then we'll get over to the knife itself. So the knife ships in a bit of bubble wrap. In here, we've got an extra clip, a little bit of paperwork, and I'll get the boring stuff out of the way. So here is the Steel Will Barghest. This knife is, pretty much in keeping with the designation that they've given it. They label it a tactical knife, and it's big. It's got a long blade, very grippy G10 handle, fairly substantial thumb ramp here, as well as a deep choil to keep you located on that handle. All right, so a lot of stuff that we'd sort of expect to see from a tactical knife, and a couple things we wouldn't expect to see. So let me give you a quick rundown on construction and materials, and then size and weight and all that stuff, and then I'll give you sort of my initial thoughts on this knife to try to at least give you a sense if this is something that should be on your radar or not. Again, I don't know that this is available in stores yet. For sure, you could get it from the Steel Will website, but otherwise you'll have to wait a little bit until stores start getting it in stock. Okay, so what we have here is a D2 blade with a black wash finish, reasonably thin behind the edge, fairly nice little swedge on top, substantial blade stock, but nothing crazy. Nice sharpening choil there. We have dual options for deployment, either thumb studs, okay, or a flipper. And I have to say, I've got a comment now. Normally I'd wait till the end to make comments, but the action on this is really, really impressive, especially for what it is. Inside, we do have phosphor bronze washers. You can see them right there. So this is not on bearings. And I will say this, when I initially got this out, I was like, oh, they put it on bearings, because it's actually that good. It's very, very smooth, very enjoyable action here. So I definitely need to give Steel Will some credit for that. The lockup is very solid, and that was my next thought. Okay, all right, so this is not on washers. The blade is moving so freely, it must be really loose in the pivot. So I grabbed this and started moving around a little bit, and it's rock solid. So credit where credit is due. The action here is really, really nice. I cannot say enough about that part. Moving down here, we've got Torx construction, obviously, G10 backspacer, G10 scales, deep carry clip. Now notice that little bit of an angle on that clip. So it comes with two, because if you're going to switch to left-hand carry, you're going to have to use a different clip. Look inside, and this is fairly heavily milled out. Nice accessible liner lock. No complaints about that, at least upon initial inspection. Bit of jimping back here on the backspacer, I suppose, in case you want to have this in some kind of reverse grip, either this or this. All right, and I know certain styles of knife combat use a reverse grip, so it makes sense that they would do it that way. So we've got a quick rundown on the features and the materials. Let's give you the size and weight before I give you my initial thoughts, other than, I love the action. So 9.5 inches overall, so fairly big knife, 3 15/16 on the blade. So it's just a hair under 4 inches. We've got 5.5 inches on the handle, 4 7/16, so almost 4.5 inches of grip area. I don't recall, at least recently, giving you guys a bigger number than that. That's a lot of room for your hand. And this weighs in at over 7.5 ounces. So pretty hefty knife. I've got to say, my scale taps out at 7.5, and this taps out my scale, but just barely. So normally what I'll have to eventually, before the review comes, I'll have to take it home to the kitchen scale that I use for like fixed blades and stuff like that. It's actually our home kitchen scale. It's not mine for fixed blades. So I'll have to give this use a different measuring tool to find out how heavy this actually is. But it's over 7.5 ounces for sure. Now it's not way over. So kind of in that, I think the last sort of tactical liner lock that I can remember looking at, that was around this weight would have been the Zero Tolerance 0200 is like 7.5 ounces. So fairly hefty knife. Haven't had this in pocket, so I can't really tell you how it carries all that well, other than to say it doesn't look super thick, so it might be okay. My initial thought is, yeah, this is what it claims to be, okay? It's a large, tactical, hard use style folder. They've gone with a flat grind here to give you quite a bit of blade stock. I do like that this is coated. Normally I don't like coatings, but if you're gonna go with D2, you may as well put a coating on it. I still like the look of D2 in satin better than I like it coated, but especially for a hard use knife, if you're going to be getting this wet, if you're going to be using it in less than ideal environments, then having a coating on that D2 doesn't seem like a bad idea. Pretty comfortable in hand. Yeah, it's a big knife. I like big knives, so doesn't put me off too much. Some of you, it definitely will. You'll take one look at this and go, nope, that's way too big and hefty for me. Have they achieved what they set out to do? I think they've done a pretty decent job. Of course, I feel like you've got to put in the obligatory, qualifier that, anytime you're going to be doing real hard use, you ought to be using a fixed blade. But as long as you keep in mind that this is a folder and treat it accordingly, you're going to be fine. So the main thing that I really have to reiterate is I can't believe how good the action is on this. Now, perhaps, Steel went through every Barghest on their shelf and sent me the one with the very best action imaginable, but I don't see them doing that. Frankly, I don't warrant that much time or attention. So they probably just dropped this in a box through their, mailing department, and away it went. And the action on this is really, really superb. I can't believe, honestly, how enjoyable this knife is. It's just smooth and fast. The detent is really nicely dialed in, so I can't complain at all about that. It looks like a pretty well balanced blade that's going to cut okay. So my overall thoughts are: could you use this for EDC? Yeah, you could. It's a little heavy for that role. It's going to be more in keeping for what the name implies, and that is it's more of a tactical style knife inspired by other large, heavy-duty tactical style folders. And so if you're in the market for that, if that's your thing, I think this will serve you well, especially considering it's a reasonable price. I don't actually know. Remember, I couldn't find this in any stores, but I suspect it's under $100 anyway. So there you go, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to use those channel sponsors down below. It does help me out a whole lot, and we'll talk to you soon.